There is a lot of content on the web related to Nata exam sketches. Since this was a widely covered topic, so I thought of coming up with something that has not been shared much before. Today I'll cover 9 handmade perspectives from my portfolio. You may ask, what's the use? My dear friend, it's a sneak peek into the kind of work design and BAC students do once they get admission in their respective colleges. Mostly for NATA exams, students are not required to fill in colors. Only pencil rendering is required. Even when colors are required, only dry mediums are allowed. But all of the following perspectives were painted in watercolors, rendered with pencil colors, and outlined with rotring isograph ink pens 0.3 mm and 0.2 mm. This was way back in 97. I studied interior design and made dozens of such perspectives during my student life. They are part of various design projects during my course. They have found a prestigious place in my portfolio, duly laminated and preserved with pride even 24 years after its inception. Hand-drawn perspectives have a different charm to them. It took me 15 hours to prepare this perspective drawing. Perspective making is a perfect amalgamation of technical and creative skills, and that is why it is such an important part of BARC entrance exams. Back in the late 90s, we did not have access to the internet. I know it's hard to believe a life without internet today, but such times did exist. As a student, we did not have many sources to take inspiration from, except for a few design digests. Perspective making was a very time-consuming process. First, you have to draw the perspective on an ivory sheet. This has to be done very lightly as the blackness of the lead can spoil the tone of the colors later. Then, you clean the whole sheet with a piece of bread. The bread actually absorbs all the extra marks and unnecessary stains on the sheet. This also lightens your drawing, but it's still visible. And then you need to throw away the bread. And then you outline the perspective with rotring pens, give a diluted coat of watercolors, and then render in watercolors. The rotring inks are waterproof, so watercolors will not smudge your work. Also, the thickness of the ivory sheet helps in absorbing the extra moisture of the paints. Let it dry, and this will take some time. Then finally, it is rendered in pencil colors. This perspective shows a traditional Japanese room and was created as part of my first year history project. Over the years, the colors have become dull and the ink has lost its luminance. Preserving and protecting them from moisture was another issue, so I got most of them laminated. In this perspective, notice how the glass in the above partition is rendered in mild gray. This is only possible with the transparent medium like watercolors. Also notice the variation in rendering of cabinets seen through the glass and otherwise. Pay attention how the corners are rendered darker than other areas. This is done to give a feeling of depth in the room. These small nuances and attention to detail while rendering helps you to gain those extra bonus points in the architecture entrance exam. Probably that is the differentiating factor between the best and the average perspective drawing in the exam. Before the NATA exam, students fret a lot on what brand colors to choose for the exam. My experience in this regard says that skill is more important than the quality of the colors you have. I would not like to take any brand's name here, but all the above perspectives were made on a budget with student level beginner's pack, both for watercolors and pencil colors. If you can afford good quality stationery and colors, go for it. If you can't, it's okay. Just work on improving your drawing skills. I was exceptionally good in making perspectives, but slowly computers took over and handmade stuff took a backseat. Almost after a span of 10 years, I got a chance to practice my skill once again. In the last 15 years, I have taught perspective to thousands of students across India and abroad. I myself met thousands of them on various mediums, on paper with pencil and colors, and also on whiteboards with markers. After consistent practice of many years, now I can make a perspective in 15 minutes. Of course, not the ones shown in the video, but yes, I can draw a raw perspective within 15 minutes. Finishing within the time limits has extraordinary advantage in the exams. This one factor can help the students with their Nata scores. Practicing for so long helped me finally to crack the code and teach my students how to make one under 15 minutes. Freehand, without using scale, without measurements. When you teach your students, they are not the only ones learning. You also learn every single day to be a better version of yourself, to strive for perfection, to reach for the stars, to be a better teacher. That's all for today. This is Anu Handa signing off. See you next week. Till then, bye-bye.